Good morning, afternoon, evening. It's your boy Sleepy Boy back at it with NMF, No More Future. And this time, I don't know. Just to support this channel, subscribe, like, comment, watch my other videos, share with your friends and loved ones, and please comment down below for the video. Or maybe you have a game you want me to try out. No, it better be a low spec game. I don't have a beefy PC, as I would say. But yeah, going back to the game. Your old friends' words warm up your cold synthetic body like no hot beverage ever could. Though you were worried at first that your friend had completely forsaken you, it seems destiny chose to be kind to you for once. Did I read this? I better not. There's still so much you wish to ask, so many things you'd like to confirm. However, before you can do any of that, Nim excitedly resumes the conversation. Still, this is insane! All this talk about this weird android running around town looking all dangerous and stuff. I never expected it to be you! What are the odds we'd meet again in a place like this? Especially with you looking like that. Weird and dangerous. Comments aside, you have to agree. This meeting really was an unexpected coincidence. Not that you're complaining. Honestly, I didn't expect I'd run into you here either. You look like a totally different person yourself. Oh, that. Yeah, I guess I look a little different as well. So much has changed since we last saw each other. Since I left college. Wait, you left college? Last you heard, he was well on his way to take care of some of his first year exams while trying to decide what major he wanted to pursue. What changed since then to make him drop out? Did something happen? It's a pretty long story, not gonna lie. Maybe we should save that for another time. But hey, on the bright side, it did give me the inspiration to touch up my look the way I always wanted. I look a lot prettier now, don't you think? It's clear that your friend is in no mood to discuss the topic further at present. I agree. There's some things that we don't really want to discuss on the spot, right? It's a little bit touchy. It's a little bit, especially bad experiences, especially experiences that for us, we were in it. If we were another outsider, you could be like, oh man, you could have just done this, you could have done that. I agree, I could have, but I didn't. So yeah. And you can't honestly blame him, all things considered. There we go. You decide to respect his wishes for now. And simply talk about the topics he feels comfortable discussing. Honestly, I was a little surprised at first, but I really dig the new look. I think it suits you. Aw, thanks. I was hoping you'd say that. Honestly, not everybody at home liked the change. But the clients here seem to like it for the most part, or at the very least they don't seem to mind. Either way, I always treasured your opinion above all others, so I'm really glad you like it. Seeing your old friend look so cheerful is enough to put a smile on your face. It's giving me a smile on my face too. You can't recall the last time you saw your friend look so proud and content, but you know for sure that it was far too long ago. You're glad that you're having this conversation right now, taking some time to catch up, but most of all, you're glad that Nem feels the same way you do. Still, talk about an extreme makeover. You're like an actual android now, right? I can't even think of what must have happened to you in the last few months. Yeah, it's a long story. Oh, it's alright, I have time. You raise a figurative eyebrow at Drake's exclamation. Are you sure? Aren't you on the clock right now? I am, but... The young man invites you to look around, his gaze focused on the rest of the customers sitting down at their tables. None of them seem distressed or in need of assistance, and most are indeed enjoying their meals without making much of a fuss. Some do glance at the table from time to time, but it seems like most people have judged you to be harmless for the time being. Either way, it seems like the dragon's services won't be needed around those tables for a while, at least. See? We can chat for a few minutes, no problemo. Besides, not every day does your best friend come back from the dead. Especially not in such a cool new getup. You really owe me a story on that one. I don't care if my coworkers come complaining. You're far more important to me than a few customers. Oh my goodness, I'm about to cry, everybody. That's too wholesome. Oh, really? A familiar face suddenly pops up behind the Drake, unsettling and surprising you both. The woman's arms are crossed to display her contempt, her eyes clearly upset at the sight of her panicked co-worker. Oh, hey, Daff. Oh, hey, bold words from someone who just tried to shove all his work onto me like I'm some kind of pushover, Nemerin? She really sounds angry this time, and I don't exactly blame her for it. Nem never was the sort of person who takes studying or working seriously. While oftentimes this aspect of him amused you in the past, today it's definitely showing its downsides. Hey, it's not like that. The tables outside have already been taken care of. I was just... Maybe the ones outside are good to go, but the ones inside are still waiting for their orders. Not like you'd bother to check. Honestly, what is wrong with... Daphne's expression takes a sudden, unexpected turn as she finally notices you. Isaac? As the instigator of this awkward scene, you feel a little embarrassed as you reply, hey. The girl's attitude or tone of voice don't dull a single bit as she includes you in the argument. In fact, as she speaks, you can't help but notice a little bit of resentment in her voice for whatever reason. Huh, didn't expect to see you again so soon. You stalking me or something? What? No! Oh, sorry. No! Then why are you here? I've never seen you around these parts before, and it's not like this place is close to home. The fierce-looking girl looks at you with an inquisitive, unnerving gaze. You can't tell whether she's upset by your presence, Nemeren's attitude, or something else entirely. In spite of that, you try to answer her query as calmly and politely as you can. Well, for one, I was feeling pretty hungry. Well, not physically, but you know what I mean. I didn't even get to have breakfast today, so I thought I could compensate by eating lunch here. Right. The human still looks completely unconvinced, though you don't let that get to you as you continue. Secondly, I also came here to give you... hold on one second. You two know each other? Nem seems to fall from the clouds as he interrupts you mid-explanation. You hear the human sigh in annoyance as she replies to his query. We're acquainted as of yesterday. For some reason, you find yourself a little dejected by Daphne's uncertain explanation. You recall the two of you becoming friends last night, but for some reason she seems a little wary of declaring herself as such right now. Maybe she's not as comfortable hanging around you as you initially thought. Before you can make the foolish mistake of asking her for clarifications, however, the girl immediately fills the silence with a question of her own. What about you? Oh wait, what about you? You two friends or something? We're old friends, yeah. Haven't seen each other in half a year now. We're best friends is what we are. Aw. The dragon is quick to correct you and with his usual energetic flair. Or we were, until he disappeared because of his complications. The implications of Nem's statements are enough to sour the mood for everyone present. Most of all for you. Honestly, I never thought I'd hear from Isaac again, and yet here he is. It's like a miracle. Oh my god, man. I'm just imagining if one of my friends, close friends, were dying. Oh my goodness, that's gonna hit right here in the heart. You know what I'm saying? Or any loved one, really. I've already experienced two close relatives, or not really blood relatives to be exact. To be exact, my grandfather and my uncle. Think about that. One was a father figure, and one was more of like a older brother figure for me, and they're both gone. Yeah. Okay, so as you can see, we're having a bit of a moment here. I'm sure no one will complain if me and Isaac catch up for a little longer. The Drake seems pretty adamant to continue your conversation together, but Daphne remains unconvinced. And frankly, so are you. Nemerin, we're literally in the middle of service. Get a grip. Oh, don't pretend like you wouldn't say the same things if you were in my shoes. Not every day do your friends return from beyond the grave in a shiny robot body. All this talk about coming back from the dead is slowly beginning to creep you out, truth be told. Though you can't fault Nemerin for his enthusiasm as he talks about the reunion. It's more so the topic itself that is a little unnerving. Luckily, the human is quick to try and distance herself from it. Like that could happen to anyone else, especially me. Exactly, that's what I'm saying. This is the stuff of miracles. Surely that's more important than... Regardless, we're both still on the job, you know. How much I hate this place already, even when I don't have to take over your duties as well. The young waiter doesn't appreciate his co-worker's seriousness, but after giving her words some thought, he can do nothing but sigh and agree with her points. Wow, someone just drove right past by the house really fast. Alright. You win. I get it. Oh, don't act like I'm some kind of nanny or something. You know what time of the day it is. Those guys could arrive at any moment, and the last thing I want is to... Those guys? Before you can ask the human who she's referring to, you hear the sound of many people laughing and chatting coming from somewhere behind you. As you turn around, you find a group of about a dozen men and women near the entrance of the cafe. Their jackets and trousers are signed by the most well-known names in fashion. Ah, yes, extremely rich people. Unlike the rest of the patrons who dressed about as well as you did back in college, and their voices are so loud they put the trains at the station to shame. The soon-to-be customers appear to be lost in a deep and rather exhilarating conversation. The topic, if their gazes are of any indication, is... you. Are they here because of you, you wonder? Has news of your visit to this establishment already reached the web, attracting swarms of people like yesterday's video did to Bloomberg Station? Likely not. Judging from Daphne's reaction, the young woman scoffs at their arrival as if it were nothing more than a regular occurrence. Right on loving time. Gosh darn it, I was hoping they'd take longer to show up. Nem turns to face his colleague, his eyes looking extremely apologetic out of the blue. Ah, shoot. I totally lost track of time. I got so caught up with Isaac, I forgot. Never mind. That doesn't matter. Is there anything I can do to help you deal with them? If only it was that easy. But no. Our piece of poo-poo manager wants me to handle them personally from start to finish. He doesn't want other waiters to distract our guests. If you want to help out, all you need to do is keep the rest of the tables happy until those jerks are gone, which could take anywhere from 30 minutes to 2 hours. Though Daphne's expression speaks miles of how angry she is at her duties, you still have no idea of why she's feeling this way to begin with. Nem does seem to be aware of her worries, however, and it doesn't take him long to agree to the woman's requests. Alright, you got it, even if that means I'll have to leave Isaac alone for a while. With her co-worker convinced to do his part, Daphne finally turns to face you. Well, I guess that means it's back to work for us. Have you already made your order? You're momentarily taken by surprise as you once again become the focus of the conversation. But it doesn't take you long to answer the human's query nonetheless. Yeah, Nem already took care of that a while ago. Great! We'll bring you your stuff once it's ready. Should only take a few minutes, it's all pre-packaged stuff anyway. Hey, you're not supposed to say that to the customers. The girl chuckles at her co-worker's comment, evidently feeling relaxed enough around the two of you to make jokes like that without fear of reprisal. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, catch you on the flip side, alright? Alright. After those brief words of farewell, Daphne leaves her table and heads towards a large group of people at the entrance, seemingly intent on leading them to their table herself. Your old friend gives you one last look before leaving as well, his eyes more hopeful than ever. Aww. Don't you dare leave before I come back, alright? I still got plenty of things to tell you. Of course, I'll be waiting. And so the Drake disappears into the maze of tables and umbrellas himself, taking care of all the customers that his co-worker is too busy to check upon. You can't help but feel a little upset at how quickly that conversation went. Now that you rekindled your friendship with Nem, there's so many things you wish to share with him, so much catching up you've yet to do. But the circumstances you've met in probably won't allow you to do any of that. It's like winning the lottery only to lose half the jackpot to taxes. It definitely leaves a bit of a sour taste in your mouth instead of the sweetness you were looking forward to. He seems like a nice guy. A chippy, familiar voice once again takes you by surprise in the midst of her pondering. How long have you been listening? I thought you were busy with those documents or whatever. I was listening the whole time. Or trying to anyway. Hard to work on both things at once. That's true. I wasn't looking at the video feed though, and I didn't catch everything that you said. Truth be told, I'm barely halfway done. But breaks are important, even Mary agrees, so I might as well check up on you until your friends return. Looks like you're not going to be alone with your thoughts after all. You're not sure whether to feel relieved or slightly annoyed. Anyway, who was that Nem guy? I never heard you talking about him before. Yeah, I guess I never told you much about who I was before the transition, huh? Well, to be fair, you're well within your rights to keep this stuff to yourself. I don't want to feel like I'm being annoying or anything. That's true. We need to have boundaries, everybody, even with friends and close friends. Hell, heck, even with our families, right? Though I have to ask, did you never tell me about him because you were hoping to forget him? No, absolutely not. In fact, he's one of the people from my past life that I used to hold the most dear. You take a moment to sort through your head, not wanting to make your explanation any longer or more confusing than it needs to be. The two of us have been friends since kindergarten. We used to meet up after school a lot to study and play together, most of the time behind my parents' back. They weren't all that keen on me going to other people's places. But we keep it up for over a decade and we only grew closer and closer as we did, so he was one of the few people I could really be myself around without worrying. I see. But then how come you never mentioned him before? Your expression considerably saddens as you were forced to confront the motivations behind your actions. I guess I just thought that bridge had been burned a long time ago. Ever since I stopped talking to him out of fear during the last few months of my hospital stay, I was terrified what would happen if I ever saw him again. Oh my god, this is hitting me hard, everybody. Burning bridges. I've been there. I've done that. It's even as simple as just ghosting them, you know? And then looking back, it's hard to rekindle the bridge because I don't know, is it done? Maybe we're not as close as we were used to. It was just a couple of months that we knew one another, one semester, and things like that, right? Ever since I stopped talking to him out of fear during the last few months of my hospital stay, I was terrified of what would happen if I ever saw him again. I guess it was a little hypocritical given how worried I was over my family. Not your proudest moment. In all honesty, you're probably going to feel ashamed for your actions for a long time to come. Well, maybe you were just worried because you cared for him the most. Maybe you just wanted to try and forget him because the pain of losing him was too much to bear. You lay silent in your seat, motionless. You feel your body twitching all over in a fit of sadness and rage as you admit to yourself that Natalie's probably right. Oh dear, I did it again, didn't I? I'm so sorry, Isaac. I didn't. It's okay. I know you didn't mean to hurt me with. I know you didn't mean to hurt me with that. I just need some more time to process everything is all. I still can't believe I accidentally found him like that, working at a random bar I've never even heard of before. It's fate, I tell you. Sometimes coincidences or stuff like that happens. You meet your friend at the mall, if we meet your long time, they visit you, people you forget that they haven't, and you'll be shocked that they haven't forgotten you. It's interesting, really. And then it makes you feel crap. I've been there. I'm 21. What the heck, CP? You've been doing bad decision. I mean, that's my life pretty much. Nem referred to it as a miracle earlier. You're not quite as religious as the rest of our family, but perhaps there was some truth in his words after all. So if there are no pauses right there, I'm like catching my breath. Anyway, before I say something else I might regret, want to hear something interesting. You raise a figurative eyebrow at the canine's remark, curious as to what she's interested in discussing. I'm all ears. So, about this Daphne you were looking for. She's the only female employee working that bar, isn't she? You briefly stutter as you ponder the implications of her question, then take a brief look around the cafe. The only woman you can see tending the tables is indeed your friend, who still appears to be handling that large table with the new arrivals and ignoring all the others nearby. It's quite an odd sight for sure. Rather than taking their orders or helping them out in any way, she seems solely interested in conversing and laughing with the well-dressed customers, almost as though she were one of them. No, that can't be right. Though she does wear a smile around those people, it's not at all like the ones she shared in your company last night. Is she playing a character? Is she even feeling comfortable at all? Whoa, that's her? You hear Natalie almost shout in your ear all of a sudden, causing you to fall from the clouds once again. Where's her nose? Now that's a good question, though definitely one you have the time to address at present. Ignore it. That's just the way she looks. Oh, I see. Sorry, I guess I was a little rude, after all. Though I guess it seals the deal. The reviews really were all about her. What reviews? Again? The ones I mentioned earlier before I went silent about this place. That's right, now you remember. All that stuff sort of faded from your mind as soon as Nemerin showed up, alongside any real interest in the mystery behind this place's reputation. I'm giving them a quick read now that I have time, and oh gosh, where do I even start? What do you mean? All the top reviews, or at least the ones that got shared the most, mentions an interesting, unique, or something exotic waitress at some point in their description. Every last one of them. I get it now. She's like the mascot of the place. So I get why Daphne doesn't like it, you know. Oh, hold on. Are you for real? Interesting, unique, and exotic. Those aren't exactly the words you'd use to describe Daphne. First and foremost, because of their crudeness. And yet, those appear to be the thoughts of the people who left these reviews. Not gonna lie, this is some seriously creepy stuff. Even the reviewers who were never served by her can't stop talking about her. It's actually insane. Like, I get that she looks weird and maybe a little scary, but some of this stuff is seriously messed up. Not even girls on dating sites are obsessed over this much. Is she some kind of famous influencer or something? While you are curious about Natalie's supposed knowledge of her dating apps and websites, you're too invested in this mystery at the moment to worry about that for now. Not to my knowledge, no. Though I suppose this explains why those people over there seem so interested in her. You take another look at Daphne, who's still dealing with those same people from earlier. Now that Natalie mentions it, they all seem strangely fixated on her for some reason. What exactly are those people so interested in? Is it her looks? Her mannerisms? Her favorite conversation topics? Or perhaps... While you ponder about that, you notice someone intruding on that unsettling oasis. Nemerin suddenly exits the building and approaches the table, much to Daphne's surprise, and the patrons... How do you pronounce that word? I'm searching that now. Quick Google search, everybody. Let me just... Yeah, you hear that. Chagrin. Distress. And the patron's chagrin. Or chagrin. I think it's chagrin. Chagrin. S-H. Chagrin. He exchanges some words with the people present, who all suddenly turn to stare at you for a moment. If before you felt more or less ignored by the people present, now you're once again the center of attention. As you try to hide away from their curious and unsettled gazes, you spot the human taking her leave from that annoying-looking group. She hurries towards the cafe's entrance while Nemerin seemingly takes over the table for the time being. You don't even have time to question what just happened as Natalie addresses you once again. Well, that's about all I wanted to say. I gotta get back to my job now. If all goes well, I should be done with everything in 20 minutes or so. That's great! Maybe this means I'll be able to introduce you to some of my friends later. The canine can't stop herself from gleefully snickering at their proposal, seemingly rather excited. Of course, I'd love to meet them for myself. See you later, Isaac. And with that, Natalie's voice once again disappears from your head, leaving you to your own devices. What she shared with you about your friends and this place's reputation still lingers in your head, and something's clearly going on and you have absolutely no clue what that could be. Between your earlier discussion with Bradbury, Mary and Jasper, your unexpected meeting with Nemarin, and this new mystery going on with Daphne. Today's morning has certainly been more eventful than ever. It sure has, no cap. Hopefully your human friend will be able to shed some light on her situation the next time you see her. Assuming she's even willing to talk about it, that is. Looks like you won't have to wait much longer for that to happen. After all, you immediately spot Daphne coming out of the cafe carrying all sorts of foods and beverages in silver trays, carefully balanced on her arms. At first, you mistakenly believe that the girl is heading towards that other group on the other side of the cafe. But you're surprised to see her turning in her direction instead. What? Her expression is still as unimpressed as ever, while her trays are much fuller than you thought they'd be. You don't recall ordering that much food, honestly, though it's very much possible that you did, busy as you were mulling over Nem's sudden appearance earlier. You pray that Jasper or those dreaded owners won't find out about this little waste of company dime. Here you go, nachos, chicken sticks, vegan meatballs, salmon carpaccio, tapioca. How do you... Carpaccio. Carpaccio. Yeah, exactly. I did it correct, everybody. In a bottle of water. Did I forget anything? It looks like Daphne's still giving you the proverbial cold shoulder for the time being. It's like you somehow offended her without even realizing it. Though it could just be you taking things too seriously again. Oh god. You try not to let it get to you as you answer. Yeah, that's about all I asked for. If there truly was anything more, you won't bother to check. This feast is already too big for one person to eat through. Good. Honestly, the walk between here and the kitchen never gets any shorter. Especially when you have to walk it over and over again, I imagine. Yeah. In the midst of this conversation, the girl grabs a nearby chair, nonchalantly drags it closer to her table. Though it faces the wrong direction, she doesn't seem to care as she sits down and resumes the conversation. Come on, shoot! Uh-huh? Don't act surprised. I've seen you staring. You've been meaning to ask something, yeah? Go on, I'm listening. Daphne's not exactly wrong. There are many questions prodding in the back of her head, and you'd be lying if you said you weren't interested in finding some answers. At the same time, this doesn't look like the right moment to be engaging in a conversation with a busy-looking woman. Are you sure? I know you're on the clock and everything. Yeah, about that. I know you think I'm being a bit of a hypocrite here, but I have time. Really? Yeah, in fact, the more of my time you can waste, the better. That does sound pretty hypocritical indeed, given her reaction to Nem doing the same not even 10 minutes ago. That said, she doesn't look like someone who's trying to take advantage of you right now. Her expression, though still somewhat distant, almost looks pleading in a way. Perhaps it won't hurt to chat with her for a few minutes after all. So, who are those people? You vaguely motioned the group Daphne was hanging out with earlier, trying not to be too obvious. You said you didn't have many friends last night, and yet those people sure seem to be acting like... Oh, you mean those people. They hate me. Uh-huh? Never in a million years would you have been able to arrive at this conclusion. Are you sure about that? Well, I guess hate is a bit of a strong word. It's more like they're repulsed by me. Repulsed? Daphne tries to keep quiet, but it's evident that she has a lot more to say about this than she let on. Eventually, after giving it some thought, she releases a final sigh as she gets ready to deepen her explanation. Yeah, that's what intrigues them about me. Of course, they never say it out loud. They prefer to call me interesting or outstanding or whatever dumb word they're obsessed with that week. But at the end of the day, all they really do is poke fun at me for the way I look. That's why they drive all the way here from other cities or states. That's why they invite all their friends and families and treat this like some kind of sick vacation trip, a circus, you know, a zoo. All this just to see me. All this just to laugh at me, actually. And I have to play along with it all unless I want to get fired. Pretend like they're the funniest people in the world and that I'm some kind of genetic freak and all I get in return is $8 an hour. All because I had the misfortune of being born a human. You almost can't believe what Daphne's telling you, and yet her expression leaves little room for doubt. She sounds dead serious as she describes her awful situation, which she seems powerless to stop. That's horrible. You never would have thought people like Daphne would still be treated like that these days, like some kind of alien or exotic pet. You thought that times had moved beyond pettiness like that. Oh, trust me, Isaac, it will never will, especially if the base is human, and then it evolves. And I believe something with similar intelligence to a human being would have prejudice and all that good stuff of a human, all that bad traits of being a human, right? Yeah. Just imagine what she must have felt there at that table just now, surrounded by those people. It's enough to make you shiver. Does this happen regularly? It happens daily. The faces change, the ages change, the clothes change, but their attitude towards me? That one never changes. You feel a burning rage shining within you as you fight the urge to walk over to that table and serve those pricks a knuckle sandwich of your own design. Not like that'll do either of you much good. Daphne would likely lose her job if you try to confront them about their actions. While you just lose everything. As much as it pains you to admit, there's nothing you can do to help your friend out as it stands. Does your boss even know of this? I'm pretty sure the boss, this is his like profit model, you know. This is his scheme. Of course he does. Who do you think set this whole thing up? Exactly. They could have just stuck to their usual clientele that's already more or less used to having me around. But no, they wanted those big, fat, rich kid wallets that bad. Well, isn't there anything you can do about it? Obviously, your employer's not gonna help you out, but maybe Nem could. Nemmer is just a waiter, and same as me. If I can't do anything, neither can he. The only reason the boss keeps him around is so that he can look at other tables while I'm busy pampering the rich people of the day. Unlike me, he's replaceable. The moment he tries to speak up or do something to upset my relationship with our VIPs, you can bet he's gonna get his butt fired. The human once again sighs as she uncomfortably shifts in her seat. Which is exactly what he just did. I really hope the manager doesn't find out about this. What are you talking about? The only reason I'm here chatting with you right now is because he told those idiots that you really wanted me to come hang out with you and that the manager agreed. Obviously, that's BS. I bet that pig stuck in his office as usual, watching football or whatever while we're out here working, and with some luck, that's where he'll remain until those people are gone. I'd hate for Nemmer to get in trouble just because he wanted to help me out. And that's where it ended right here. It's 33 minutes. Hopefully everybody watched the video or my other video. Subscribe, like, comment, share to friends and loved ones. And I'll be seeing you in the next episode of NMF or some other video. Good luck everybody. Stay safe. Bye.